happened to me again. I pre-scheduled, and when I went to try to go get into it, I couldn't. So I'm guessing everyone is over at the other live. So I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds, seconds, minutes to jump over, and willfully you can jump over. I know last time some people couldn't come over unless I closed the other one, but I couldn't close the other one because I couldn't even get into it. So if you're over here and you're able to hear me, please just peace, Nikki Love. If you're over here and you're able to hear me, just let me know in the chat. You know what I mean? But you probably can. But cool, cool. Thank you, Krishan. Yeah, they did it again with the whole piece. If I say scheduling, it seems like when I schedule ahead of time, that's when it gives me the most issues. Phone a little bit like this. That's when it gives me the most issues. Like sometimes it doesn't let me get into the actual live. So that's what kind of happened again. Yeah, I pre-scheduled. I didn't know if I was gonna be inside or outside because it's raining pretty hard where I'm at, and I wanted to be outside, but I didn't want to take the risk of whatever. So, because the rain is like off and on, and I didn't want to risk it being on when it was time for us to greet one another. So, as always, welcome to the day. Welcome to the dawning. I will that everyone has rested well, and if you did have some visions, some night visions last night that they weren't so intense that they didn't allow you to rest. I know sometimes that can be the case when we're resting at night, and we're trying to get some rest. Sometimes our visions can be so intense, what some people call dreams. Sometimes they can be so intense that we might even wake up from them and not even want to go back to sleep. So I will that all of you were able to get the rest that you needed, and you're ready for to close out the strong with vigor and with clarity. All right, so as you notice, I've been able to kind of get our times down a little bit more, closer to what I've been aiming to do. And I'm going to continue on with that great tradition. All right. But I know people are probably still spilling in from the other live, but it is what it is. But commanding the day, 9:18, right? So yesterday was 17, knowledge God, and I was going to get into that a little bit, and I just ended up not doing it. Peace, YG Gutter, peace. I just ended up not doing it, not getting into it, and kind of went in a different direction in terms of what we were speaking about. But maybe I'll do it on another 17th. Yeah, So we're still dealing with that prime attribute of knowledge, and we're building and we're destroying, and we're knowing. We're coming into a knowledge of building and destroying knowledge, and determining what knowledge is good or what knowledge is fruitful for what it is that we're here to do, and what knowledge is detrimental for what it is that we're seeking to do in life. Right? So, an important thing with and willfully what I gave you yesterday helped you. Willfully that will help you to kind of kick it up, take it to another level. And I'm gonna give you something else, and this something else may be a little difficult. So I'm going through today's mathematics a little bit. I always knowledge the mathematics, for the day, but I don't necessarily always bring light to it. So it depends on how the flow is. You know what I mean? So yesterday I was actually going to go through the mathematics, Peace Joyce Isley, and I was actually going to go through knowledge God, all being born to build and destroy, but I just didn't. I went a different direction. So if you look at, I think, yesterday's video title, it is Knowledge God, because that was my intention. Um, but I just wanted to shout it out today because I didn't shout it out at all. I shouted out at all yesterday. All right. So today, dealing with, again, we're commanding the 18th. We're commanding that day, and there's something I want to give you today that is practical. Peace, Baba Logan, but at the same time, there's a there's a spiritual and metaphysical value to it that may be, I don't know. I don't think it'll be too difficult for you to conceptualize. I don't know. I know it won't be. Um, but I know it's necessary because there's always got to be a balance between the mystical and the concrete, or the abstract and the logical. There's always going to be a balance between that, or the masculine and the feminine. Peace, Juanisha. And sometimes you have people who want to keep you just strictly in the logical and the concrete. Peace, change. And then you'll have some people who want to just keep you in the mystical. And they're both dangerous. It's like, only acknowledging angels but never acknowledging demons, or only acknowledging your higher God order but never acknowledging your lower devil order. Either one is dangerous to your liberty. So you have to have the balance between the two. I think I've given that example before, like with music. Music is not just one note. If it was just one note, it'd be pretty annoying. That would almost be like a form of torture, just hearing one continuous note. But for some, even continual silence can be torturous. Peace, precious mom. So there's that off and on, or that duality, and that contrasting syncopation to everything in life. Whether it's masculine, feminine, positive, negative, electric and magnetic, or again mystical and abstract. So there always has to be, that balance. Um, at least we should be striving for that balance whenever we can. So anyway, so what I wanted to kind of just touch on as far as you getting into this place, this series of just commanding your day, and like I said yesterday, I think to some level it's also like commanding your season, because it's not like the things that I'm sharing, they have a 24-hour expiration date on. These are principles that you can use to begin to command and direct and conduct your entire life experience. Um, so one of the important things is, like, when we look at creation, and sometimes you hear me speak about creation versus making, right? So straight up and simple, just to give you a start, we were all created spiritually. We were created by a spiritual being, or an energetic breath, the wind being. Um, that was our first creation. So everything that you have has a counterpart in the spiritual. So you have a spiritual arm, you have a spiritual nose, you have spiritual lips, you have spiritual ears. But most importantly, out of all of those things, you have a spiritual mind. So you have a spiritual mind, and then you have what came later, which was your natural birth, right? So you were first created in the womb of your celestial creator, or of your heavenly Father, right? Which is a great way to put it, right? Just follow me, because I know sometimes when you guys hear certain phrasing, it triggers you, but that's because you know you never understood what was being said to you, and you don't understand it now. So when, like, people have said that before to me, like, oh, when I just hear certain words like salvation or Christ or the Bible, I don't know, it just takes me back to a place. But you were never really in that place, so don't worry about that. You were never there, okay? Um, a lot of people think that they were Christians who never were Christians. A lot of people think that they were in the church and they never were in the church, or the ecclesiastical. So when you hear certain terms, see, that's a part of the mind game that was played on you. You've now developed these trauma triggers to something that actually you revealed first. It's always important to understand that, that Coptic system or that Gnostic system was revealed in Africa first. then it was revealed in Europe. It wasn't that the Europeans came to the continent with Bibles like, here, you don't know about this. It was revealed in Africa first, then taken to Europe. I'm going to repeat that. Christianity was revealed in Africa. Then the Europeans got to Africa. That's not how it happened. Okay? So sometimes we get triggered by things that we don't understand. Right? Now, I'm not advocating that you all become Christians. That's not what I'm talking about. In fact, I'm advocating that you do not become a Christian. All right? So just to be real clear on what I'm saying, do not become a Christian. That's what I'm saying. But when you hear certain terms and you're triggered, you have to understand that what you learned before in those places was not even Christianity. Even if it could have been, it wasn't even that, right? So when you hear me say words and it feels like it's taking you back to the church, just understand that it's taking you back to that social experience of the church. But for you to get real clear on something, the word church comes from the word circle, right? Its actual origins, its etymological origins, and circle actually gives birth to the word peace. Peace, Baba Vermont. Circle gives. Yeah, I called you Baba. You ain't got no children. Maybe you do. Maybe somebody's pregnant. You know. But church or circle gives birth to the word that we know as today as circus. So the word church, the word circle, and the word circus are actually the same exact word. Now you might just think that that's a odd or funny coincidence, but it's a purposeful and deliberate coincidence that the circus and the church were the same exact thing. That's why when you go to the circus, it's a circle, and then at the center of the circus you have the ringmaster or the pastor, and they're putting on a show for everyone, right? At another time. But let's just say most of you grew up in the circus. You didn't grow up in the ecclesiastical. You grew up in the circus. So when you hear certain terms, it brings you back to your circle mentality or your circus mentality, but it doesn't bring you to a higher order mentality. If I say a word like resurrection or revive or restoration or salvation, the game that's been played on you is that it will take you to a place that it shouldn't. It will take you to the circus because what they did, just like I said, with the whole revealing of those scriptures, this isn't even what today's segment is about, by the way. Peace, Jonathan. Um, this is just like a disclaimer, just so you know. So, I mean, yeah, take this in too, but this is actually the disclaimer for the actual topic. Um, but that's the trick that's been played. You know, that's the trick that's been played. Um, it's like sometimes you present natural food in front of somebody, and they'll say like, "Oh man, I don't mess with those green drinks and stuff like that, man. Last time I ate something like that, it had me on the toilet." Good. That means it was helping your body to purge itself of stuff that had no business being there, right? It was purging you, but you saw it as something else, so now you've created this stigma for something that you really are supposed to have, you know? Or maybe you didn't really get a green drink. Maybe you was like drinking one of them bolt houses or something like that. You know, something that was pasteurized. It's not really healthy anyway. Just because it has a picture of a farm on it doesn't mean that it's organic, right? So, with that being said, going back to the actual topic. So what I was saying was that you have a celestial creation, right? That happens that's born of your celestial father. Now, understand what I'm saying? And then you have an earthly birthing that comes from your earthly mother. So you have a celestial or heavenly father and you have an earthly mother. Okay? So what happens is that your earthly mother or matter, gives you a physical, gives you a physical being. And your celestial father gives you a spiritual being. And sometimes there's a challenge with those two because they're walking on the same path. Well, you want them to walk on the same path. Hopefully, they're walking on the same path together. but one is an aging person and the other one is a baby. So one just wants what it wants, and the other one is trying to get what it needs. You see, so there's a challenge that exists there. And what happens is where your human brain or your human, yeah, your mind is popping up. Your human, yeah, another reminder. Y'all probably heard that one. Yeah. Your human brain or your human mind was originally designed in that it was originally designed to serve as a tool for your spirit. Your human brain and your human mind now begins to become a weapon against your spirit. So your earthly manifestation now begins to weaponize itself against your spiritual or your heavenly or your celestial body or your celestial creation, right? Whereas, peace, Brittany, by the way. Whereas your human appendages are supposed to be servants, right? But this is where everything gets twisted, and this is one of the reasons why we can't get our relationships to work right, because everything is supposed to mirror something, right? So that the creation in the heavens comes first, the creation on the earth, or not the creation, the birthing on the earth comes second, right? So the birthing on the earth is supposed to follow the dictum of the creation in heaven, right? So this is the woman follows the man. This is our system. This is my culture. Now you might say I don't believe in that. You're entitled to believe what you believe, right? You're on this channel to understand what I know, or to get some light from what I know. Your belief has nothing to do with anything that I ever care about ever in life until the day I die. I don't care nothing about what you believe in, right? Unless I'm taking in knowledge from you. If I'm taking in knowledge, then I'm gonna try to find out what you believe in. But that's not what this is, right? So before, you know, before, just think. Like Aretha Franklin said, you better think. Think. All right, so that's the order of things, right? The masculine leads, the feminine follows. The masculine gives the conscious stimulus or the spirit stimulus, and the feminine provides the material or the matter, right? So one is the master and one is the servant, plain and simple, right? Now, what happens, and this mirrors, remember everything that happens on a celestial level will mirror things that happen on a human level and vice versa. So what happens eventually? Well, your spirit or your celestial mind will tell you this is what we're here to do. This is what we're going to get done. We'll do. Let's get to work. And your human mind will. You sure about that? You know, peace, Alex. You know, you sure that's really what we're going to do? I don't know. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't feel right. I don't think you're capable of doing that. You see, or I'm tired. I don't feel like doing all that, right? So, or the human mind, what it seeks to do is it seeks to have an understanding of a full understanding of the spiritual mind before it goes into action. Now, this is common in relationships. Remember, everything is everything. Everything gets mirrored. How many times have you women said that I don't have a problem following a plan if I understand it? What are we doing? Explain to me what we're doing. What's happening here? Right now, that may feel right to you, but it's actually wrong. Since when does the servant ever get an opportunity to demand answers of the master? And I know, master. But again, I will reiterate: I don't care what you believe. That's it. No explanation needed. I don't care what you believe. Okay? So some people have ears to hear and eyes to see, and I can say something like that, and they're like, yeah, got it. And then others are, oh no, he didn't. You know, got their hands on the hips and all that. You lost. have an opportunity to be found, or you can continue to stay lost. What do you want me to do, man? Come on. I don't love you like that. I love some of you a little bit, but I don't love you like that. So either you get it or you don't get it. That's all. All right. So with that being said, so there's a thing that happens inside of us. So we're talking about what projects out into the world. Peace shade. But we're also speaking about what happens internally, where there's that rebellion, that internal rebellion. See, a lot of times when people read different scriptures and different spiritual information, again, the first idea is to project it outward. You read about Atlantis, you project it. You read about Lemuria, you project it. You read about the Palladian agenda, you project it. Everything that you read, you read about ancient Sumeria and the Akkadians, and it's right. And instead of trying to go inward and see, like, okay, this is a journey of certain archetypes, or this is a journey of the soul, this is a spiritual journey of a people, and let me understand how that journey is still happening. Because again, in that spiritual atmosphere, that is spiritual arena, there is no concept of time. So therefore, if I'm reading a creation story, I'm reading the now time creation. I'm not reading, when do we pinpoint when did creation happen? Who now? It happened now. And that's the thing. You can receive your power from your knowledge and your connection and your affiliation with the inner mind, right? And a lot of us, we start to crustate ourselves on the outer mind. That's where we seek to find all of our knowledge. Even those of us who go to school and we get certain degrees, and we say, okay, well, based on this degree now, I'm educated. So because I'm educated, I have now empowered myself in this world through education. But you see, that's just wrong. It just doesn't work like that. Alex Legrand, peace. I'm not answering questions like that. This is not that. All right. So maybe somebody else in the chat will want to answer the correlation between Rosh Hashanah and Ifa. But when we're doing the dawning devotionals, that's exactly what it is. It's to inspire you, and it's to help you command your day. But it's not a class type of form where I'm going to be answering questions. And the reason I have to say that too is because if I answer your question, which I ain't going to do anyway, I don't even want to. But if I answer your question, and everybody else is going to start peppering me with questions, and then they're going to miss the whole point of what I say. So half the time when it becomes like that, I might as well just sit here like this and just look at the chat and wait for the questions to come in, because you ain't listening to a damn thing I'm saying anyway. You see what I'm saying? So I tend to segment when there's teaching from when there's this and when there's that. So this is not that, right? And that's just, I'm telling you just because everybody else needs to know too, right? Peace, Miss Cindy Jones. All right, so this is how it works, right? Peace, Baba Utu. This is how it works. So when you receive that first created mind, right, that first celestial mind, which is the core of your creation, because remember, everything happens in the spiritual, and then through word sound, there's a formation of something, and through that word sound and that formation, objects are placed where you want them to be. That's an important part. Please don't forget what I just said. See, when you're creating through sound and you're creating through word, just like you said, oh, you like the music in the back, it's real smooth, right? The music in the back, it sends you and it places you. Sound and word places, categorizes, and positions. No different than saying, hey, you go over there, you come here, you position over there. That's how creation happens. So creation just isn't the or the production, the manifestation just isn't a verbal forming of something and something now forming and taking shape, but it's also allocating and locating something on a grid. Okay, that's very important for you to understand. So what happens is this: because we have this original celestial creation, right? And I told you it's going to be a little bit of metaphysics in this, but I'm gonna keep it practical because I want you to be able to use it right away. I don't want you to be have your head all up in the clouds and be pontificating on a whole bunch of useless stuff. Not useless, but impractical stuff. So what happens is this: um, there's a celestial creation, and we're then put into this earthly domain through word salad, right? Now, you now have like Emmanuel, like Baba Emmanuel. You now have the created deity now moving and functioning inside of a restrictive human environment, right? So how is that created deity able to cope with being in such a restricted environment? Well, the way that that created deity is able to cope is that that created deity is given authority over that environment. That's its coping mechanism. It's celestial authority. So it's like, well, damn, I got to be around all these beasts, but at least I get to have authority over these beasts where I can, on some level, author and create what the reality is going to be. If I couldn't do that, it would just be torturous. It would just be like being in jail, where I have no kind of authority to do anything. So that's how the creator or your God copes with being a human. It's given celestial authority through that celestial mind, right? So what happens when that lower order human mind decides it wants to buck back against that authority? See, now you have internal rebellion, you see. And of course that's mirrored throughout the planet. We just have people who are just completely rebellious, and standing against divine authority. So that's why if I say something that's speaking to, that's how you always know someone has been enchanted or beguiled. And enchanted is an important word. It's an important word for you to understand and know. But that's how you always know that someone has been enchanted and beguiled by lower order familiar spirits. Because once you start speaking higher order, they usually like will figure out a way to shut you out. And I mean literally shut you out. Like it could be a video, it could be a podcast, and they immediately want to turn it off. Or it could be a show you're watching or something, and somebody comes in, oh, I'm gonna turn this off. That's one of the clues that you know that someone has been enchanted. Because a lot of times when we look at like, oh, you're under a spell, unfortunately, we don't always look at it in the sense of like we think of we look at mind control, and we look at mind control kind of as a thing where it's like, it's almost like forced on a person, like it's almost like water torture while they're pouring things into a person's mind, but it doesn't really work like that. It works through enchantment, and sometimes we're enchanted by the most beautiful things, or sometimes the things that people tell us. I know, like, because for many years I only wore African prints for long time. Like T-shirts and stuff. I just started getting into, but whenever I would present myself like that and walk down the street, there was always a lot of salutation I used to receive. Even on the continent, I'd walk down the street, people, oh, you look like a chief. You look like a chief. But here, sisters would always be like, oh wow, that's a beautiful outfit. That's beautiful what you got on. You look so regal. You look, like da 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 da. So you get a lot of that, right? Now, I could have taken that praise and now sculpted or taken on an identity based on that praise. Well, I am regal because I look regal, so I must be regal, you know. And that's the human mind now being enchanted into a certain personality, right? So that's a form of mind control, but it's lower mind control. Whereas the higher mind is sitting back like, what? Like, are you crazy? No, you know, you about to that's going off the deep end. You about to go off the deep end. That's not it, right? That's not what signifies your royalty. That's not what signifies your regality, because you could put on a print and it matches well with your skin and it looks good on you and the way you walk and move. And people say, oh, you look like a king, or you look like a queen, or you look like a princess, but that's not it, right? So that's a form of enchantment. Um, so what happens a lot of times, the lower mind gets enchanted. And once it gets enchanted, it becomes rebellious and adversarial to your first mind, your original mind. So that authority that's supposed to be there is constantly questioned and bucked at. There's almost like to eventually there's a separate, not a divorce, but there's a separation. Well, you do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing, right? Now, what happens when the lower mind starts saying, "Well, I'm gonna do my thing"? Well, that's when the lower mind now says, um, "I'm not religious, I'm spiritual." That becomes one of those kind of people. Now, you might be saying, "Well, you saying we should be religious? Just follow along and you just follow me, right?" 9 times out of 10, when somebody tells you that they're spiritual, what it really means is that they're rebellious. What it really means is that what they're saying is, I'm not listening to anybody. I'm listening to myself, and I want what I want. See, that's when you have the adult living with the child. You see, so yeah, I do divination, I do rituals, I do. Well, what is the compass that you use to determine what you should be divining about or what you should be doing ritual for? Well, I listen to my Ori, I listen to my ancestors. That's an enchanted lower order mind. I know that might sound crazy to you. This is a man who's been teaching ancestors and Ori for years, but I've been teaching it within allocation. Remember, when the breath of life is breathed out and things are formed and created, they're put into position along with their creation. Everything doesn't just sit in one space. It doesn't just all occupy the same space. There's a hierarchy to things. You see? So I may teach you about a tree, but I ain't never gonna tell you to pray to a tree. I may tell you to rejoice and glorify and what put that spirit in the tree. So just like when I'm walking down the block and someone says, "Wow, you look so regal, you look so this or that," I'm rejoicing in what made me regal, not what made me look regal to the physical eye. That's an after effect. You see, I'm rejoicing in, wow, man, the creator really, you know, gave me an authority over this place. The creator really made something great in me, and thank the creator. You see, in Ifa, we speak about that when a divination is done and the Ifa is good for someone, the person is, it talks about in the Patakis, the person praises the Babalao, and the Babalao praises. There's a science in that. It's showing you that it's always you always push your acknowledgement and your attention to the source, as opposed to you praise me and I'm gonna keep that. That's mine. I'm not shoot. That's all me. Now, what does that create? That creates a type of leadership or the type of teachers and enchanters that tell you things like this. You get into an organization and they're teaching you some kind of information, and they don't want you to learn anything else, right? Or they don't want to reveal to you where they're getting what they're getting from, right? And sometimes people ask me questions like, I'll teach something. They're like, "Wow, Chief, where you get that?" The dictionary. Sometimes just look the word up. It's a dictionary, and they don't believe me, but it's because I have a certain kind of insight that's been developed in me because of my relationship with the Creator. So the longer you walk and move with the Creator, the sharper and keener that creative mind is. So I might look at a dictionary or an encyclopedia or a movie and be able to break down things that you may not see. But I'm not playing a game with you when I say no. I really just watched the movie. Like, that's all I had, you know. Or I reference you to something or whatever, and it's something that will develop in you too, because that same spirit has already been established in you, but now the activating and the lighting of it can be poured out into you too, right? But again, it all depends on what mind is servant to what. If you are trying to learn these things because you want to glorify yourself, then your lower order mind is the master now. So you're never gonna really learn these deeper truths ever. And you're never going to really have authority over your life. You're never really going to have authority over your environment because that lower order mind has no authority. It can present the illusion of authority, but it has no real power, it has no real authority. Its greatest power is submission to the higher order mind. That's the best thing it could do. Just like a woman in a relationship, her greatest power is submission, not rebellion. Not, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. And okay. And watch how that weakens you. And then 2 years from now, you'll be getting a reading, complaining and crying about how you have to be the man. I had to be the man because, I was forced to be the man and I don't like it. I don't like having to make all the decisions. I don't like always having to figure things out or, this and that. Feel weak now, huh? Feel weak, don't you? Yeah. That's what happens when you step outside, because the world will constantly, and enchanting spirits will constantly show you things that you're not supposed to be shown the way you're getting it. I want you to understand that. For example, I can take a child, or I can give a child a smartphone and put no restrictions on it, and say, hey, if you want to go look up some porno, go ahead and look up some porno so you can learn about sex. Now, what happens in that moment? Well, they learn about it in the wrong way, right? Or I could say, tell you what, let's have a talk. Let's sit down when I get home from work. We're going to build, and I'm going to teach you the science and the metaphysics of intercourse, right? So there's getting into contact with, but a lot of times we don't understand that we're supposed to have an emissary on certain journeys. When a child learns about sex, they're supposed to have the emissary and an ambassador, their parent there, to not only explain it, but to also buffer whatever the shock of that experience may be. Now, when you're dealing with an enchanting spirit, the enchanting spirit says, I'll teach you everything. I'll give you everything. You're ready for it. You can take it. You see? That's one of the things that you know. So even as leadership, you may say, I got this from here, I got that from here. But certain things you may not teach because it's not time to walk a person through that. Or they haven't developed a close enough relationship with their creator in order to go through that path or go through that way. And that's not just initiation. That's why so many of you get initiated and still have very basic questions. Because you got enchanted by greedy Baba bread. Oh, I'm gonna open up the mysteries. Why? You're gonna open up the mysteries that you didn't even establish. I don't know. That sounds kind of weird. Is it time for those mysteries to be open? Should I know those things right now? Um, is my relationship with the Creator strong enough that even in knowing those things, it's not going to drive me insane? You see, these are things that don't really come up in conversation, unfortunately. Um, so, what I'm speaking about in a nutshell is what mind becomes your mastermind. You see, what mind becomes your mastermind? Is it your birth mind, the one that you received from your mother, the latent mind, or is it your celestial mind, the one that you received from your pater, that Putin, the one who was actually sculpting a celestial mind? Which one are you going to move with? Because one will keep you in circles of despair. One will keep you in circles of ego. One will put you in a place where you can't move anything around you. Now, what does that mean? Sometimes we're in situations, man, or we're confronted with certain energies that we need to push up away from us. Move around with that. And we don't really have the authority to do that. And I've had this said to me before. I've had people tell me like, the devil's a liar. Satan, get behind you. Like when I'm trying to explain things. I've had like Christians say that to me, when I'm breaking things down. The devil's a liar. Whatever. Like you don't even know what the hell devil is. You over there in church giving your money to a devil every goddamn Sunday. You ain't even going there on the right goddamn day. How about that one? And you worshiping the sun. That's why you go on Sundays. You know, damn Vatican tricked you into sun worship. Just like that. Just like that. Sun worship from the Vatican. Signed, sealed, delivered. Satan, they're yours. So, I've had that said to me before, but the truth is you don't have any authority to move me because of the mind that you're functioning from. So if you're functioning from that higher creative mind, now just like Adon was able to name the animals, and when you name what that meant in the Hebrew was not just that, oh, you're a goat, you're a giraffe, it wasn't that. When you name something, you provide its description. Okay, so he was by naming certain things, he was able to say, this is how you're going to move through the planet. This is what you're going to be, and this is where you fall in the hierarchy on the planet, right? Because he was at that time he was functioning from a celestial mind, right? Or they were, because Adon wasn't one person, but right? So now let's take it to today because remember there's no time in that space, right? So we're talking about if Adon was told to name the animals, that means we're told to do the same thing. And sometimes that animal may be your own internal animal form. You know, even when you look at modern psychology, and there's certain terminology and there's certain words that are used. Like people always talk about the DSM-5. There's certain manuals that are used to describe illnesses and sicknesses and things like that. But based on whose mind are you describing that? So today you can tell me something is a sickness, and then tomorrow you'll tell me it's not a sickness based on how you name it. Because through your naming of it, you now describe it and place it within the pantheon. You see? So when something is coming to you that you don't want in your life, diabetes, high blood pressure, sickle cell anemia, how do you get it and push it out of your cipher? You push it out of your cipher through the use of the celestial mind, not through the use of the lower order human mind. The only way you can move things out is through is connecting with that first created mind. Because why? The first created mind gives you authority, authority, father, gives you authority over mother, matter. You see? So the author mind has authority over the matter mind. The matter mind then channels that through to all the shapes and the matter on the planet. But you have to do it from the father, author, authority mind first. So a lot of times we're not able to command, like, the series you're talking about commanding the day. A lot of times we're not able to command the day because we're not speaking from proper authority, right? We're speaking from lower order reaction and effect, but we're not speaking from the causation mind. You see, so it's just an important thing to kind of think of, and sometimes, like I said, sometimes we've been enchanted away from that mind because we want what we want. We want what we want, and I'm gonna get into that. I had a whole presentation I was gonna do. I keep kicking this chair in front of me. I got my phone sitting on this chair. I'm sorry if it keeps shaking. I just realized what I've been doing the whole time, and maybe it's not. I got the stabilizer on, but I'm kicking out like a little child. I'm kicking my feet out, and I keep hitting the chair. So if it shook, I apologize. Let me lean forward like a concerned adult. You know. So yeah, what begins to happen in that sense is we get caught in cycles of enchantment. And like I said, I was going to do a whole presentation on morals over mysticism, and that's coming. I don't know how I want to do it yet. But I want to just do a podcast or do like a video or something. I don't know. I'll get to it when I when I get to it. But I can just tell you that that's a huge problem, man. That's a huge problem. I want what I want. Okay, I want what I want, and there's always something here that's going to satisfy what you want. That's the that's the trick bag. That's the trick bag that we get caught up in, as opposed to recognizing that everything that I came with is a spiritual tool. It's not a weapon. That's why in a lot of different martial arts systems we bow. With that bowing that represents is I'm breaking the weapon. Like my body is a weapon, but here I'm showing you respect by bowing, and giving you that respect, like I can break the weapon. So the body is a tool, but at the same time, it the first mind devoted and dedicated it to be a spiritual tool, not just something that weaponizes us and always causes us to get off the path, or something that's the constant and forever antagonist against what it is that we're supposed to do. And sadly, for many of us, that's what it's become. That's what it's become. That's why when you read in the Anu Way, and I'm gonna get out of here soon. I'm not gonna tie up your doing it too much. Um, there's a section on movement that I have in there, right? Because movement is critical. And one of the great things you can always do, and our brother Charles, he spoke about this once. He didn't really speak about it. He mentioned it in passing, but I remembered it. Um, Peace, brother Eddie Moon. Uh, he spoke about how he listens to podcasts and things like that when he's in the gym. Well, I don't think he's in the gym anymore, because when Charles first came in, he was yacked. He was yacked up. He's smaller now. He don't think I noticed, but I noticed he ain't even working out anymore. But when he first came in, he was yacked up. Um, but like he said, I used to listen to podcasts and things like that while I was, working out. And that's an important thing. You're feeding the mind, you're feeding the body, but what are you feeding the body with? You're feeding the body with the instructions of the mind. So if I'm affirming, or I'm listening to a podcast that's maybe speaking about me being a better father, or being a better mate, or being a better chief, or whatever, and I'm working out at the same time, then now I'm programming my body for that particular purpose. You see, so if I'm doing some knuckle push-ups, or I'm doing some pull-ups, whatever it is that I'm doing is for the glory of that purpose. So therefore the body will begin to form and shape around that. You see, that's why you'll see sometimes people who choose to live certain sex styles, their bodies start to formulate around that sex style. You see, because they're programming the body, they've been enchanted with that, and they now are programming the matter of the body with that. Remember, it's just like a woman; she can be programmed with the conscious thoughts that you place inside of her, man. That's why I always tell brothers, if your woman has a bad personality, just give her another one. You don't have to get rid of her. Just give her a new personality, right? Put a new spirit into her. But if her personality sucks, it's probably because of what you dumping off, what you offloading into her. You come home angry for work, and then you want to have angry sex, and then you wondering why she's nagging you and all the time. And I'm not trying to take it off the accountability off of a woman, anything like that. But sometimes it's not her. Sometimes it's you. You know, she is your reflection after all. um, but anyway, I digress. So yeah, man, I just want you to start getting into that concept of mastering your mind. You know, good dawning from Louisiana. Well, good dawning on back to you, Olga Jamalaya. Yeah, good dawning on back to you, Louisiana. One of a place that I love so very much. I love that state, man. That's a cool state. I like Louisiana. Not New Orleans is alright, but it's too much slave energy there. But I like Louisiana as a state in general, man. It's got some really cool, uh, little crannies, nooks and crannies in Louisiana. But yeah. Anyway, good morning, Miss B from Barbados. All the Bajans up in the house. Uh-oh. Bajans are a different kind of breed of people. They're different. you know, Barbados. Yeah, yeah. Peace, peace, peace. All the way over to you in Barbados. But yeah, man. What I've been noticing too. I just want to say this before I go. Maybe it'd be the last thing. I always say that, and they'd be like, "Oh, another thing." Um, a lot of you have been sharing these videos, which is great, man. I just want to say thank you. Um, and the reason I know is because I'm getting like all these, like between Facebook and stuff. Not really so much. I haven't really been on IG since they had me locked down, but getting like all these new people have been like, oh, so and so shared your video. You're doing videos with me. Thank you so much. You know, so um, that's cool, man. I guess it's been very helpful for you and for people who you know, your friends or whatever like that, man. So I just wanted to say thank you, man, because I ain't gonna share it with them. I haven't even been posting these on my Facebook wall. So oh, St. Croix, our mother's way, St. Croix. All right, yeah. You with me? Okay, you with me? All the dreamers are with me, because you know everybody from the islands is a dreamer. You know that when you're surrounded by all that water, you can't do nothing but dream. You know, those are where your master dreamers are in those islands, man. They you think I can dissect a dream? Listen, I ain't doing nothing. You know, um, been hitting me with that constant Zarabanda for the last few dawnings. Good. Zarabanda is a hot energy. Zarabanda heats things up, man. Zarabanda is a hot energy. You you put that Eshu and you put Ogun together, and you got Zarabanda. You know, so that's good. But yeah, man. So I just really wanted to kind of share that, and you know, it's something that I noticed has been a stumbling block for a lot of folks. That's when you know that you are off. I'm not sure what y'all talking about, but yeah, I'm jumping in and out. But you know, it's just something I wanted to kind of add to your repertoire of things that you may be. Oh, when you stop dreaming. Um, Maybe not. Dreaming is tricky, brother Cruz, because dreams can be good. Don't get me wrong. It's a tricky thing, but technically, when you're dreaming, you are technically not resting. So it can kind of go both ways. You know, like yeah, your dream wakes you up in the last couple of minutes of your sleep, but some people are like excessive dreamers. You know, like when you wake up and you're like, man, I had a dream like this. Especially if it's a traumatic dream, you know, then it's like you weren't really resting. And that's if you notice, whenever you have a traumatic dream, you never wake up feeling rested ever. You know what I mean? So it can go both ways. You know, I'm not saying dreaming is bad or anything like that, but um, it can kind of go both ways. Some people don't dream; they just don't dream. You know, and it's not a bad thing per se, but you'll find that in these end time experiences that dreams are a bit more common. You know, because a lot of people, you know, the beauty of that creator and that creator mind that I spoke about earlier. I don't hear any more rain. Yeah, I think all right. I might be able to hit the park and get some movement in. I had to get money in the house earlier. Now, you know, I don't really like getting money in the house. Um, Getting money means moving. It's for those of you who don't know the terminology. So like if you're working out, if you're doing your aerobics, your African dance, you're doing your stretching, your Pilates, your shadow boxing, your skipping rope, you know, your cardio workouts, your calisthenics or whatever. That's all getting money. You're getting money. You know that's what it's called in some spaces. And if you came up in like New York area, like you know, we used to work out in the park, because I used to be heavy into calisthenics when I was younger. You know, I was in the park every night. But I used to go like at 2 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., nobody's in the park. But there'd always be like some drug addicts, we'll say that, would always be in the park, man. I used to have these two. They used to always, man, they used to make my workout so hard. I'd be up there doing my dips, you know, or doing my pull ups. And they'd be like, yeah. And they always had a paper bag. Oh man, they had their paper bags. They'd be like, yeah, get money. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, get money. And then they'd be like, all right, yeah. Come on, 3 more. Give me 3 more. Make it look easy. And these were like my coaches, man. Oh, give thanks, Michelle. They used to be like my coaches. And they'd be like, yeah, get money, get money. All right, I see you, I see you, I see you. Get money, get money. All right, double time it. And I'd be double time. I'm sitting here listening to these two crackheads. you know? But those was my workout coaches, back in the '90s, man. I'd be in the park. They'd be there every night, high, every single night, man. Zooted out their minds, high. And yeah, I see you, baby. I see you, baby. You came to get money, right? You can, all right, I see you, baby. Yeah, okay. Hitting them with the wide grips. Be calling out my whole routine. That's back before smartphones, man. So people wasn't filming stuff like that, back in the days. But yeah, that used to be funny stuff. Then they hit me with that double time. And my stupid behind sitting there listening. You see, I'll tell you about that lower mind is very easy to control. I mean, got two crackheads over there making me freaking destroy my body. Working out 2 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, that was a regular. That went on for a long time. Man, at least about almost a year. Cause I used to go every night, going and get that stress up off me. You know what I mean? And plus, because I don't sleep much, I never really slept much. So at night I'll be up. I am hit the park, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever. Whoop. Get some money real quick. And they be right out there. Yeah, baby. You late, baby. You supposed to be here. Where you was at? What you doing, baby? All right. Then they want to borrow money. Yo, brother, you got 69 cents? Always some funny number. 69 cents. What you going to do with it? I just want to get something to drink. That's all. I just want to get something to drink. I just need 69 cents. Come on, man. But anyway, man. Yeah, so I'm going to see if I can go get some money, a little later. But that's the important thing, man. You got to feed the body with that higher consciousness, and a lot of times it's good if you're getting your movements in while at the same time while you're taking in certain information or taking in certain affirmations. One that works really well for me, you could try. It depends on what you need, right? I tell myself I love myself while I'm doing certain movements. I love myself. And where are you located? All over. I hover between earth and heaven, looking for whom I might devour. But yeah, sometimes you need certain things drilled in, and it's hard sometimes to do longer affirmations. You might not be able to skip rope and do the 42 declarations of Ma'at. That might be difficult for you. But, you can tell yourself you love yourself. So sometimes even if you're doing something that there's a lot of exertion associated with it, and you're like, man, why am I doing this? I don't feel like doing this. Yeah, Partal he's rough dude, right? That's a video I shared with the brothers. No, that was a serious answer workout, Sky. You know, um, you can always there's links in the video descriptions and stuff and my social media. We got people in Toronto. OMG. Oh God, you one of them people. You an OMG person? Okay. Well, LOL. And WTF. Why the face? All right. But anyway, what you could do is you could do short short workouts. Come on, you gonna keep asking where I'm at? Workout Sky? What the hell? What are you, the feds? Y'all already know where I'm at. Yeah, Logan. Logan's in Toronto. Y'all Toronto it up. Damn, man. That's some. You keep drilling on that, man. God damn. Anyway, so yeah, just tell yourself you love yourself. You know what I mean? When you working out and everything, you love yourself. Or whatever little kind of short affirmations you need. You know what I mean? So yeah. Everyone enjoy your day. And keep an eye on Workout Sky. Workout Sky asks some real kind of snitchy kind of questions. Where you at? No, I'm saying though, what kind of car you drive? What side is the ignition on the car? Is it the left or right? If someone was gonna wire a bomb to your thing. It's a simple question. I'm genuinely interested in meeting. I just told you there's people in first of all, don't say it's a simple question on my live. Like, first of all, don't even, you might need to get the F out of here. Don't say it's a simple question, all right? First of all, you asked me where I'm at. I told you where I'm at. Then you said, no, seriously. I don't want to tell you where I'm at. Plus, and you're a faceless avatar on YouTube. Then somebody says, "Yo, I'm in Toronto. Where are you at?" And you still going. Maybe you just need to kick rocks, man. Like, relax with all of that. Obviously, I'm not gonna tell you where I'm at, man. So chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, just or link with Logan. What the hell? You know what I'm saying? It's internet stuff, man. That's why y'all gonna make me stop doing this. All right, let me get up out of here, man, before I say something crazy. Because I got a lot of, older, distinguished people who watch my channel, man. I don't want them to start thinking I'm a heathen or something like that, man. But goddamn. Well, yeah, just short affirmations. I see y'all are picking up on it. I love myself. I respect myself. Because what happens is, you start to tap into who myself is, right? So like when you're doing something and you start wondering, like, why am I doing this? Like, damn, this hurts, or this is exhausting, or whatever. You doing them diamonds. I love myself. I love myself. I respect myself. I'm a divine creation. That might even be too long. I'm divine. You see? And you drill it into your muscles. You drill it into your muscles. So even when you're feeling that soreness, because you gotta realize that's an ebo. When we're giving caloric heat, we might burn a candle and we might have a certain intention that we put on our shrine, so we light a candle. Or even when you're doing a physical ebo, there's a lot of heat when you're doing ebos, right? So you can generate a similar kind of heat through your actual movements, whether you're running or you're skipping rope or you're jogging, whatever it is. But you're like a candle. You're generating a lot of caloric heat. So just same way you would light a candle and you would say affirmations over it, you could heat yourself up and say affirmations over the heating up of your own self. Again, your body is a spiritual tool for. I'm sorry, I'm kicking the chair again. Your body, I just saw it jittering. Sorry about that. Your body is a spiritual tool, and once you see it as such, then you'll start to tune in more to your purpose and where that takes you. All right, the rain is gone, and I can still see clear. So I'm gonna try to go get some money real quick because today is crazy hectic for me, and then Sabbat at sundown, so I get the rest, for a nice little 24 hours, yeah, I get the rest for. I'm just gonna look at the chat for a minute because I want to answer that. But I'm messing with your workout, Sky. Relax. If you're gonna be in here, you gotta be able to kind of take a joke a little bit. But don't be asking me where I'm at. But yeah, man. So we coming into Sabbat, and why do we do Sabbat? Because we want to align ourselves with the celestial environment. That's why we do Sabbat, because we want to align ourselves with the celestial environment. Okay, so whatever the higher ordered archetypes do, that's what we do. That's how that works. If they rest, we rest. If they move, we move. And that's the whole big thing. That's actually something I was gonna hit you on, like, but I didn't get into it. But the reason that we get that separation is because we're unable to move when the creator moves. That's the problem. We don't move when the creator moves. We're static in our positioning because we're stuck in that lower order mind. But when you're functioning from that higher order mind, as soon as the creator says, okay, shift left, shift right, we're right there with it, and everything comes along with it. You see what I mean? So maybe on the next what am I calling these? Thank you, Daywo929. Give thanks. I appreciate that. Man, y'all are, I'm about to act a fool. get some suede curtains or some velvet. I get some velvet curtains. But yeah, maybe on the next what is it? Commanding the day, I'll get into what movement of the creator actually looks like when when there's a dynamic movement and how you stay in step with that. All right. So again, everyone enjoy your day. Be safe going into Sabbat. Enjoy your Sheba, your Sabah, your Sabbat, your Yom Sabbat. You know, as we're coming up into it. That's for all you Ephah people. Yes, in Ephah we do have a Sabbat. And all you Igbo people, yes, we do have a Sabbat. Okay, it's not Jewish. All right, everyone, be well.